The following program may contain adult themes and language that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listening discretion is advised.
Growing up fatherless, what are the real effects of lacking your father in your life? You know, it's very, and I'm just throw out some stats out there. Maybe this will help you guys. 63% of youths commit suicide because they're in a fatherless home. That's powerful. 63%. Wow. 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. Here's another, and this is all from the U.S. Department of Health / the census. 85% of all children who act up in school are from fatherless homes.
Man,
those are all powerful things out there.
that's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. And I want to say this real quick just to just get it off my mind. But with statistics like that, I know I'm not a big statistics person, but if there's a lot of people who rely on statistics, with numbers like that, you would think that the court system would try to get fathers more involved in their children's lives and not really go out of their way to divide the household.
That is a very good point.
With those statistics.
Yes, Victory, that's a very good point. Another statistics out there, 80% of rapists with anger problems come from a fatherless home. 80%. That is crazy, people out there. I mean, 71% of high school dropout comes from a fatherless home.
Wow.
I mean, how can you not even be very passionate about this topic? You know, I myself, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys out there in IDO and MinorityMenShow.com land. I wasn't raised with my father. And growing up, I had a lot of anger because it took me a while to understand who I am. Finally getting an opportunity to really sit down and talk to my father enabled me to really understand who Publick is.
All right, well, I'll get into this. I am a teacher in the school system, and I see a lot of children who grow up and who don't have fathers in the household, and I think it's a big effect on guys and girls equally, you know, because a lot of women, they grow up in the household without a man, so they really don't know how a man's supposed to treat them and how they're supposed to be towards a man. And I think women who grow up with a man in the household don't really have that male structure to kind of keep them in line and let them know how you're supposed to be. Because regardless of what, a girl needs a woman, but a girl also needs a man. And I think it's a huge detriment because a lot of women don't have that father, that male figure to love. So when they get older, they go and they become very promiscuous because they feel, well, I'm looking for this guy to give me love, so they get it from whoever they can. Me, not to divulge huge personal information, but I didn't grow up with my biological father. I grew up with a stepfather in the household, and it kind of bothered me all through the years because I had to call another man daddy instead of calling my own man daddy, and there were a lot of things that went along with that. But I think as a whole, it made me a better person because I learned the ins and outs, and I feel that, you know, as I got older, I got into a better relationship with my stepfather. But I think not having a father in the household is huge to guys and girls. You know, when I see it every single day, I pretty much live it every single day with my students.
So, BlackerThought.
That was just listening to Core's, history. That's deep. But I was lucky enough to have a father that was involved in my life, very involved. He took me everywhere. We did everything. We laughed. He showed love until he departed, this earth when I was 11 years old. So I was lucky enough to have a father that cared. But losing him even at that young age, I knew I had a father, you know what I mean? So after that, I didn't have any anger issues. Because I knew that there was somebody who did love me, you know what I mean? That there was somebody who was really there. I remembered something about it. I remember what he smelled like. I knew what he did. I knew the kind of things that he liked. So it was I was lucky enough to have that. But I think about situations like Core's, his father not being around, and other people that I know. whose fathers may not have been around. But I think about it like this, and maybe I'm just thinking about it because I know my father personally, but I'm thinking, you know, our earthly, you know, we have a father. You know, we have a father that never disappoints us. You know what I mean? We have a father that never disappoints us, even, you know, the ones that he gives us for this earth here. You know what I mean? They're going to disappoint us.
Right.
You know, but we really, our truest father is, you know, is the father that created us, I think. And, you know, if we look to that father, I think we're all good. You know, and, you know, for all those fatherless kids out there, you know, that's, you know, believe in that. Just remember that, I think.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah.
Like, real quick. I will say, though, having a stepfather is not a bad thing, too. It's not a bad thing because sometimes you have that stepfather who treats you like he's his very own. Mm-hmm. And you learn a lot of things from a stepfather. You may even learn things from the stepfather you never would have learned from your own father. Mm-hmm. So for those of you out there who have a stepfather, please don't look at him in a sour way because he's not your quote-unquote dad.
Respect him, please.
Respect him, cherish him, and love him for what he has to offer you.
Exactly.
I do have a question for Victory, though. Having a father in your life, I'm not saying you per se, but we're just generalizing here. Having a father in any one of our lives, did that enable you to be the man that you are today? In Victory, I'm pointing that to you.
Well, I was one of the fortunate individuals to grow up with my father. My parents were together, are together. And yes, my father definitely made a significant impact in my life and in my upbringing, just as well as my mother did. I've inherited a lot of qualities from my father in terms of, you know, some of my talents that I have, and him being around, whether that's something innate. I mean, if he wasn't around, would I still have had those talents? Perhaps. But him being around allowed me to nurture those talents. He nurtured those talents within me, which allowed me to develop and become the person who I am. I mean, a father's role is imperative in a household. It's important. But it's not to knock any individuals out there who grew up in a household without a father, because you can still very much, you know, become a good man and a good person in your adult life. Just, you know, turn your direction towards the proper and the right influences, you know.
That's well said. Mr. Cook,